Has your party lost its luster?
No, there are two problems here, one of which is easily fixable. The first reason is that this polling took place from the pandemic, right? So you had 2 years of us having to sit at home with the Democratic president making that decision. It was the right decision, but it was awful for all of us. I think that reflects here. The other thing is that we don't communicate our message. The Democratic Party for the last 60 years has delivered nearly every major working class victory there is. Affordable Care Act, Voting Rights Act, Medicare, Medicaid, all these very important things that keep us afloat, Social Security. Democrats have delivered all those things, but we don't talk about those things. We talk about esoteric social issues that are divisive. We should focus on the economic message, which is something that Leader Jeffries has been talking about, which is kitchen table pocketbook issues. That's the way back to the majority and the White House for Democrats. We have a record to run on. Republicans are the ones taking health care away from 17 million Americans and food assistance away from 5 million Americans. Prices are sky high. That's because of Donald Trump. That's what Democrats should be talking about. Everything else, Donald Trump is trying to do whatever it takes to change the news cycle, but we can't take the bait.
I mean, you can talk about COVID, but there are two factors in this analysis. What they showed was happening here. Let me do the first one, right? Many voters are choosing to be political independents by not registering with either major party, but of the people who do choose between the two main parties, the Democratic share has been cratering. Yeah. I mean, can you just blame that on the pandemic?
No, it's also, listen, the party has failed to really engage with men. That is a failure of the party. The party has also failed to
Okay, so let me get to the point two.
Okay.
Number two, the steepest declines in registration are among men and younger voters.
It makes sense. No, it makes perfect sense. Look, I think Democrats have kind of become the party of the snowflake in a way that doesn't resonate with a lot of guys in terms of the way that we communicate with each other and talk. And so Republicans have seized that. But they're frauds. Republicans have done everything that sort of opposes the working class in America. Democrats just have to talk about these things differently and engage and not take men for granted, which to some capacity has happened.
How long have you been coming on this show?
Forever.
Yeah. And have you been saying that forever?
I know. Listen, we're turning a tanker. It takes a little bit of time, but it's coming.
Okay.
I think the party gets it. The party gets that it has failed to communicate with men properly. The party gets that it has taken certain groups, Black voters and others, for granted. I think that has been acknowledged, but it takes a while to fix it.
Okay. Messaging is one.
Yes.
Money is two. Mm-hmm. We did a segment yesterday about how the DNC is far behind the RNC. But beyond that, how can Democrats address specifically this? Voter registration statistics, numbers, and which groups, how do they go about that by giving money? Is that something that can be solved by money?
Yeah, listen, I think there are a lot of talented, very talented sort of voter registration people in the country. They're not getting the money to do the work. I actually think that the party should reconsider some of the vendors that we use to do some of the work and their effectiveness in that way.
So you say vendors. I spent a lot of time last go round talking to groups who look to Stacey Abrams as sort of like an inspiration. These are grassroots groups who have come together and who are working hard on voter registration in their states, in their communities. And they all told me to a group, if we just had a little more financial support, they've tried, they've failed.
The money is there.
It's there?
I just don't think it's being allocated to the best people that can do the job.
Okay.
And so hopefully that gets fixed.
But I'm not talking about a vendor group. I'm talking about a grassroots organization.
But there are many of those. But we can do both. Let's give them the money. Let's not always default to the standard beltway people that get all the contracts, because I think that has shown itself to be ineffective.
So they're watching and they're hoping that you get charge of some of that money at some point.
I'll never be invited to another party in D.C. for saying that, but it's true.
Michael Hardaway. Well, that's also true. Thank you so much.